Welcome to Coffee and a Conversation hosted by CJ Abernathy for South Dakota District 23 Senate 2020. A father, an activist, a Marine Corps combat veteran of Iraq and Afghanistan, Purple Heart recipient with a bachelor's degree in information technology software engineering. CJ is the executive producer for the Adam vs. the Man podcast with Adam Kokesh, and the CEO of Internet Warlords, the War for the Internet, as well as a former 2018 South Dakota Libertarian gubernatorial candidate, and a 2020 South Dakota delegate to the Libertarian National Convention. If you would like to join this broadcast, click the link in the description. Coffee and a Conversation starts now. Have a great day or don't. The choice is always yours.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy CJ, the Internet Warlord, coming to you live and loud from the great state of Meth Dakota. You know, Meth Dakota, it's that state just south of North Dakota. Not Dakota, the state north of Nebraska, the state east of Minnesota and Iowa, the state west of Wyoming and Montana. Landlocked state of pure tyranny and sadness, a place where people are just as stupid as you think they are and allow the government to do whatever they want. A one-party monopoly state. Yeah. Oh, man. You know, listen, folks, are we done yet? Is the election season over? Because this is the thing when I ran for governor, you know what? I need coffee first before we do this. When I ran for governor on the premise of telling you all, hey, this is how the government has enslaved you. And that message was rejected by the Libertarian Party at the time. And, I was pretty angry still in life at that point. You know, it's really hard to support somebody who is emotionally not there. And I mean, my intent and my heart was in it, but emotionally I was still pretty angry, disgusted. Today, the anger subsided, but it's been replaced with, I don't even know how to describe it. I'm not angry, still disgusted, but and still telling people that, hey, we're slaves. It's 2020 now. And the only thing I can do is continue to tell you all we're slaves. It's not like people are lining up and saying, hey, CJ, here's a microphone that speaks to all of America. Go ahead and tell them all the truth about the crimes the government commits. In fact, I'm actively seeking that microphone. But I think we're in a time where people, at least the majority, and again, that's not I'm not saying that they're okay. The majority of voting Americans have accepted their slavery. They have voted for their slavery. They are voting and continuing to vote for their slavery, and it is a sad realization that those of us that are telling everybody this is slavery, they say words like freedom and Constitution, and of course the stupid out there eat that up like it's somehow legitimate. Oh, did you hear Trump say he loves the Second Amendment? Oh, I believe him. Of course, I don't believe CJ showing me evidence that Trump has actively attacked the Second Amendment more than any other president prior to him, minus the machine gun ban. I think the ones that did the machine gun ban, they still deserve the top, like, screw you for tyrantism. But, Trump has attacked the Second Amendment more than Barack Obama. and it makes you just and then again you see it, just people continuing to vote for him. And I think it maybe okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe all of you on the other end of this screen are smarter than me, and I'm wrong. Maybe we do live in a free country, but none of you present me any evidence. All I see is news article after news article of why they need to take more of your freedom, why we need to spend more money, and why we need to keep on perpetuating this cycle of fraud known as government. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I should just do like Adam and embrace the statism. Maybe I should figure out a way to accept my own slavery, because there's a part of me that wants to continue to inform people, but it's not popular. The social media sites do not push people like me to the top to tell everybody the crime's being committed. It will never happen. I'll be shadow banned. Not to mention, I already have to deal with, and they already know that the slaves amongst me have attention spans that can only be measured in nanoseconds. So even if I do say, hey, you guys, we're all slaves, and if you gave me the opportunity to, and by the time I say if you gave me the opportunity to, most people have tuned out. Yeah, and that's where it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because the system should be, wait a minute, who's saying we're slaves? Let's actively focus to that person and figure out why they're saying we're slaves. And then if they're right, they should have evidence grounded in fact and be able to prove to everybody simultaneously. And you'd think that, one person saying, hey, we're slaves is like, okay, maybe you're just pissed off at the government. But when it's this many people, and don't tell me we're free, because if the blue team wins, Trumpophiles are gonna fucking lose their minds. If the blue team loses, they'll lose their minds. So really, it's only you accept your slavery more when your whipping hand is in control. But when the master sends in a new whipping hand, that's when everybody's like, it's tyranny. And again, so somebody like me who's consistent across the board and says, hey, it doesn't matter which one of them fucking idiots you put in the White House. We're all slaves, regardless of who's in control at this time. And so that's not a popular message. A lot of people don't want to think that Donald Trump is a slave owner or Joe Biden is a slave owner, but they are. They are professional slave owners. And yeah, it's just a fucked up world we live in. And again, I don't want to be the guy that's popular or makes money off of, hey guys, we're all slaves. No, there's nothing to that. Like I said, I took down my store, intentionally took down my own merchandise store while running for public office. I don't see it like I should be profiting, even my own principle. I shouldn't be profiting on internet warlords or anything else that I own off of benefiting from my political speech. So like I said, I shut down my own merchandise store. And so, but somebody like Joe Biden can make deals through his son for billions of dollars, and this is perfectly acceptable. Somebody like Kristi Noem can sell access to the president of the United States. Donald Trump can take millions of dollars out of his campaign money and put it in his own bank account. Hopefully we'll cover that one on Adam versus the Man today. Well, Adam loves the man. But again, the part of the problem is that the mainstream media is in on the slave ownership. They have themselves owned slaves. They control people's lives through the manipulation of information and the insane way that we've somehow turned your eyeballs into money makers. I don't get that yet. I mean, I do, but I don't. I guess I just don't know. So, that's wrong button. Here's an example. That's how tired I am today. Good morning, Peter. Laugh your motherfucking ass off. Remember, anything we've ever been taught has been a lie. Thus, freedom may exist. Listen, freedom is a concept that only the mentally ill believe in. And yeah, that's a as I wear my freedom hat this morning, I go, maybe Adam is right. Slavery is freedom. Accepting the huddled masses, the herd mentality, being in with the other sheep, going, hey, I'm just like one of you. Let me pick a football team and wear their jersey, and let me vote for the status quo to continue. Yes, I have seen the movie Ready Player One, Jim. The almighty dollar controls our society. I think the stupid control society, and money is just a consequence of that. Mercedes, that is my name. I'm watching you while I watch me, and I'm like, not okay. Well, it is that what's Thursday? Think it out Thursday. You gotta really think it out today. Why aren't you okay? That way on Friday you can what the fuck it. Yes, I have seen Ready Player One. Yes, I did get to that, Jim. Good morning, Craig. Again, open discussion as always. So feel free to click the link in the description. I didn't have it on YouTube, so if you are watching on YouTube, obviously there's no link. You'll have to go to Facebook if you really want to join. If you really got something to say. But oh shoot, ain't nothing worse than getting hair in your coffee. All right, Jim, what do you got? The corporate bad guy talks about selling advertising to 80% of the user's field of vision before inducing seizures. Yes. Wouldn't it be cool? I've tried with Adam versus the Man to switch us to a different operating system. Maybe I should try to talk to Adam Loves the Man and see if he'd be more interested in doing it. But you can take up, you see this space right here between the logo going up and then this field of right here. And then on this side, it's kind of hard to do this opposite. All this wasted space on the screen, even above my head. Yeah, an overlay can change all of that. And so, yeah, 80% of a screen before seizures. I don't know. I mean, the way they make it look in the movie, it's believable. But, yeah. But, okay, so, again, running for political office. We got how many days? Well, again, and knowing that some states aren't going to have the responses and answers until then. But listen, again, compliments of votemercedes.com. 4 days, 14 hours, 58 minutes, and 16 seconds. And, what have I learned? What exactly have I learned this time around? I mean, last time I learned that being angry, telling the truth, and being angry and telling the truth are two combinations that are just not going to win. Since then, I've tried to reel it in these last 2 years. I had zero intentions of running for public office again this year. I was going to wait until I don't know, maybe another governor race or, something else, maybe a Senate race on the federal level, but, just didn't have any plans. And then the convention came, and, watching the Libertarian Party of South Dakota come together like that, make this decision the way they did, and truly believe in each other to, at least run these campaigns to where we're just giving people a choice, like have a choice. And when you hear, hey guys, how you're not a Republican, you're not a Democrat. Well, guess what? Only one party put up a candidate, and they're just gonna walk into office. You don't know who your new representative is gonna be. They're a part of the swarm of Republiphiles that are hey, Brian, we need you to run in District 23, not because you feel like it's your moral obligated duty. It's because you're a lawyer, and we need you to be in there so we can do shady things with the law, and know that you're going to yes man and kowtow to take advantage of your constituents, rather than actually preaching a message of freedom, individual self-ownership, all the things that this country's supposed to be about. But most people don't even know who my opponent is. I mean, I have more likes on my Facebook page still since the day I found out who Brian is. His page has gone up, I think, like 4 or 5 likes on Facebook. Not again that any of this matters to me when it's all rigged. I mean, again, it's pretending like it's not a rigged system. Is kind of fun sometimes. You're like, well, maybe I could win a legitimate, win. But when you're intentionally censored, when the powers that be, the ones that run this place as it is, have a vested interest in keeping you silent, your chances go down then. Voting has already started. In-person voting begins in 4 days. I could go early vote. I could go vote today if I wanted to, but I appreciate the ritual of waking up in the morning, getting the pot of coffee going, heading down to the fire station here where we have our polling station. And I honestly just like the day of election voting. I've seen a lot of people sharing their Jorgensen votes in the only one predicting over 10%. Yeah, I think you're saying I'm the only one predicting over 10%. And listen, she's polling at 12% with millennials. She's polling at about 8% with boomers. She's somewhere in the low single digits with Gen Xers, which is really weird. I think like 7%, 6%. But either way, that was like a month ago last I saw that. But yeah, no, 10% is a good number. I'd like to say 10% too. I'd like to say she's gonna win the fucking thing, so that way we can actually be free. That would be like a fucking weird concept for a lot of people. Like, wait a minute, huh? What? Huh? But see, the truth is, to win, all she really has to do, and this is how Abraham Lincoln, the first Republican president, who was a third party, became president of the United States, is that he took away enough of the Electoral College to contest the election, and then went in and did his lobbying when Congress was making the decision. That's how it happened. His people lobbied and won. So, there's again, that happened, back when the internet didn't exist, computers weren't a thing, TVs didn't exist, and, I don't know. I'd love to think that we, the people, used lightly there, are smarter than they were back then. I've always said that I am living in the wrong era. That if I was a man living in Abraham Lincoln's time, saying the words that I'm saying today, I'd have the whole town square to listen. The way that they used to debate back then, it was meet in the town square. In fact, Abraham Lincoln used to be on Mercury. Literally, mercury in his brain, going through rants, way, out there, rants about just government in general. And it was a spectacle to see. Now, speaking out about the crimes your government commits as a third party is actively being silenced by those who enjoy their slavery. And speaking the crimes the government commits, while a noble, honest thing to do in your life, when you see the crimes the government's committing, you will not only face the silence from the media, you will face the criticism from the slaves that are defending their masters, and you will ultimately lose friends and family as a result, because they have already been programmed to accept their slavery and can't break out of it to begin with. So it's really hard. It's been, like you said, this is my second time running for a elected position. I think there's a hiatus coming for me for public office. The Libertarian Party would like to say, no, CJ, you're going to be gearing up to win your election here in 4 days. And the answer is you guys, I live in the reddest district in all of South Dakota. They are destined to suck on the tit of big government, big corn. You'd think I'm the big corn candidate. No, farmers are too dependent on government at this point. They bitch, gripe, and moan. Don't call them welfare queens, but they never vote for their own freedom. They always vote for their own slavery. Even when I told a farmer, hey, you know how you tell me you, quote, own all of this, but the government could take it away if you don't pay taxes? Well, see, the thing is that if you elected me, everything that you see, you own, and what you give to government is voluntary. And when you explain, they almost have an aneurysm. They almost don't understand it. Like they've been in their tractors listening to country music for too long and Rush Limbaugh on the radio for way too many years of their lives to actually hear what I'm saying. And so it's a losing cause in my district, but a noble cause nonetheless, to say, hey, in District 23, you do at least have a second choice. You don't have to vote for the continuation of a one-party monopoly over politics that's enslaving you through your own sweat of your own brow, the value of your land, and the devaluing of your dollar. I mean, really, that's what they're doing. So this message is not popular, although accurate and studied and versed and coming from a place where I really do care for my fellow human being. As much as I say most of you are retarded, it's out of love. I say you're retarded out of love, because if I hate you, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. And I enjoy my sleep. And I always say choice is always yours at the end of the day, to have a good day or don't. The choice to continue to hate. I don't hate. When I go to bed, I don't hate anybody. There's not a lick of hate in my bones, but I do hate the concept of slavery. I do hate the concept of government and how they combine the two. So voted for Joe yesterday, Craig says. Drive up voting at courthouse. Kanye was the last name on the ballot. Kanye is a plant. She'll be more than 20%. Jimmy, I think that's a bold prediction. If she gets 20% of the vote, she will be president of the United States. Because neither candidate is going to be able to make the 270 required. And it'll be basically the Black Swan event, Abraham Lincoln style takeover of a third party. Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, so that's pretty much my rant for the morning here. It's been kind of fun. I have no idea. Let's see here. I guess I could skim the headlines with you guys if that was the, because it's just so important to look at what the mainstream media is saying. What about when someone gets pulled over? Then it's not a good day and it's not by their own choice. See, that's a matter of perspective, Jim. See, I've been pulled over and I've in the moment gotten angry. But by the end of the day, letting that anger go is more for your health, not necessarily that you don't have a righteous justice anger out of a highway pirate robbing you at gunpoint over a victimless act. But how you emotionally cope with that after is going to directly imagine like this. Every day you choose to go to bed angry, just take an extra day off your life. Pretty much. That's a good way to put it. If you've gone to bed that day angry, just know you're going to live one day less. And when your time eventually does come, it's a day longer. You would have wished that you had spent it on something else other than the anger. But Again, I'm not saying that there's no such thing as righteous anger. There's no such thing as anger in the moment where you have justified anger. I'm saying that by the end of the day, whether it's through meditation or through, just a personal time out, I'll make a organic tea with some South Dakota organic honey, no meth, obviously. The bees they're not on meth, so that's good. But I'll sit down with an organic tea, some organic honey, let that steep for a little bit. And by the time it's, drinkable, drink that down. It's got great for sleep. Just highly recommend it. Let's see here. Jim asks rhetorically, if you go to bed happy, you don't gain a day back. No, you get that day you've lived, and you just don't subtract from your days. That's a good way to think about it. Also, that anger builds up. You're more susceptible to heart attack, stroke, brain aneurysm. I could go on and on and on about all the ways we could die if we continue to let anger consume us. And then going to speak to my fellow libertarian candidates, you will naturally feel disgust. That you will listen to your opponents, and it'll be like a light switch. You'll go from being a citizen, a civilian person on the street, a nobody really politically, to now your name is on a ballot, and 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 people are going to see your name at least. And you're going to listen to your opponents, and you're going to listen to them and you're going to figure out how it all operates. And again, I'm not saying you don't have a righteous anger that you could have. CBD will give me back the days I lose by being angry. That is not true either. Living healthier, though, will also extend your life. I mean, nobody knows when they're going. I mean, have you ever seen the movie In Time, where money is something that they have in time and you can transfer? You ever seen that movie? That's a good one to watch. If time was currency, and you'd know exactly when you die when you run out of time. Some people wake up with only 24 hours to live. Some people have 1,000 years that they can just comfortably, live. It's kind of like the way we live today. Love that movie. Yeah, great movie. One time I'm probably like, well, all right, Justin Timberlake ain't the worst guy in the world. And the woman that plays his mom, great actress. So let's see here. Let's see. I think I got some links here if I wanted to. Let's see. That's pretty stupid. All right. Here we go. 3 dead in apparent terrorist knife attack at church in France. Well, don't say that if... let's put it to you this way. If people want to kill people, they'll find a way. And that's me now realizing the government's going to hear that and go, oh, shit, we got to stop that. So let's take more of your freedom. Oh, man. I don't even know where to go. It's so depressing. Craig says, life is short. Enjoy it. Be happy no matter the circumstances. Look around. There's always someone worse off. Yeah. I wouldn't tell that to a murder victim in process. I mean, of being in the progress of being murdered. I mean, that there might be, they might not feel the same way as you, Craig, but situational awareness dictates. Yeah. At least you're not being murdered today. Yeah, that's, I guess that's a positive. Zeta, I've seen some of the damage from the hurricane. It looks pretty brutal down there. It's going to take people time to clean up and, get everything back to where the next hurricane can knock it all down. And we can use hurricanes to justify billions of dollars in more taxes. And yeah. Pelosi reveals that she and Mnuchin are miles apart on talks. Listen, I'm broke as fuck. I need the government to give me all the money they want. I think I'm going to take the side Adam says, they can't, if they give it to me, they're not using it on bombs. Although again, I disagree with his logic. There. Good morning, Matt. See you there. Yeah. Miles apart in talks. See, here's the thing, and this is where I disagree with Adam on. They'll give all of us $1 billion, $1,000, $1,200, whatever the thing they're going to be. Why is it always like $1,200? Why was Cash for Clunkers? You guys remember Cash for Clunkers? All these government programs are like, they take out $10,000 in debt in our name and then give us back like a 10% of it. Why the government does this, I don't know. And then they use that to bail out, financial interests of, the automotive industry. And then they tell you they saved the auto industry as they signed deals to send jobs overseas. It makes no sense. Oh, and by the way, the CEOs of all those companies got like millions in payouts. So cool. But yeah, no, to Nancy Pelosi, listen, you can't understand normal thinker. You all committed the greatest crime, almost in this country's history, short of the Federal Reserve and IRS system and the stock market crash, World War II, World War I, Vietnam. I could go on forever on the list of crimes the government's committed against the people, and why listening to this can't understand normal thinker and the lapdog of the president being miles apart on something where, again, would really benefit people. But again, does it really benefit? You're talking, yeah, let's just add another $3 trillion in debt. It's just, it blows my mind. And keep in mind, regardless of which pedophile wins on Tuesday, the national debt will go over $30 trillion. I don't know how any of us are actually going to ever pay that back, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you tell me. I think that number could reach at least, I don't know. I think 30 trillion is a safe bet before or by the time the next deal's out. You owe personally, you, an American citizen, owe in taxes $217, well, just round up to $218,000 in debt. That's debt per taxpayer. Excuse me. Debt per citizen. I think that's a faulty number. Maybe, most likely, $82,243. And again, the deficit keeps going up. All these numbers just keep going up, and it's not a good thing. I don't know. This is so depressing as a libertarian to watch, because you realize in all these numbers are the bombs, the bullets, the vehicles, the riot gear, everything that they use to keep people from being free is right here in the math. We have 35,539,825 people living in poverty. 35 million people. We have 28 million. We have 28.3 million. We'll round up to 28.4 million without insurance. We have 44.8 million on food stamps. We have almost more people not in the labor force as we do in the labor force. And you're going to tell me that unemployment is at an all-time low. It says official unemployment 12 million, but it has 100 million. Look at this gray box here real quick with me. This one's going to explain a lot. I mean, so you got your U.S. population, 147 million in the workforce. That number's gone down since 2000 with 100 million not in the workforce. So 122.6 million full-time workers. I mean, it's not going to take long before the number of people not working outnumbers the people working, in which case, again, this is an unsustainable system. There's nobody that can look at this complicated, complex math equation on a website and go, yeah, I know the answer to fixing this problem. If you elect me, that number will stop. There's nobody. If Donald Trump can't do it, Joe Biden can't do it, neither of them will do it. I'd love to even say that, okay, Tuesday, Joe Jorgensen is nominated, and boom, all those numbers stop. Be interesting, though, wouldn't it? What happens when, because listen, folks, these numbers only go up in national debt because the president signs it and approves it. That's it. Plain and simple. That number only goes up at the signature of the President of the United States. And unless you find a president that says that number right there is going to stop, I don't know what you're smoking. I'd like to get some of it. I mean, the Federal Reserve debt to GDP ratio is now 137.46%. Do you know what that number even means? If you don't know what that number means, well, we're in a world of trouble. But yeah. Crazy day. So, I don't know. That just seems like such a off the wall subject, but I don't know. Let's see here. All right. Most of the sadists are going to be talking about Alex Jones and Joe Rogan. Listen, you idiots need to know one thing when it comes to Alex Jones and Joe Rogan. They are in on the crimes. I said it. And that way it's documented for the rest of history. I said it. They are in on the crimes. They are a part of the game that keeps you stupid. And they're making hand over fist doing it. And it's at your expense. And it's to your peril. Not apparel, your peril. your detriment, your slavery. Okay, here's a good point. Hey guys, let's get rid of the fiat currency. Let's actually have a currency based on something that has an agreed upon value, like this. The Hubble telescope gives closer look at rare asteroid worth, what is this? Thousands, millions, billions, trillions. Help me out here. Help me out here. What does that number actually come out to? Quadrillion. 10,000 quadrillion. So elect me president in 2024, and I will give us asteroid-based currency worth quadrillions of dollars. And we can just, say that our currency is backed on this asteroid that's lurking between Mars and Jupiter and is worth more than the entire global economy. A new study this week in the Planetary Science Journal delves deeper than ever before into the mysterious mysteries of an asteroid 16 Psyche. I feel like this is a trolling article. They're like, hey guys, psych. But again, asteroid-based monetary currency worth more than all of the debt and all the economies of the world. I used to think, man, we need like a solar dollar. As long as the sun exists and we have energy and you can go downstairs and you can say, oh, the price per watt is this. If we had a solar dollar that would be more based on something that is agreed upon. But why not just agree to outer planetary objects as our currency? Like, as long as this thing's floating between Mars and Jupiter, we have this. At least our currency's based on something and not nothing. I mean, we could all say, yeah, let's rack up all. I mean, think about what it could do if you had a piece of the 10,000 quadrillion pie. I don't know. But then again, a guy can dream, can he? A guy can dream, and I like to dream with the best of them. Oh, and just for the record here, for all of you that were saying Governor Kristi Noem is the greatest governor of all time and the most libertarian because you're stupid. This is just a little glimpse into why why North and South Dakota are suffering the worst COVID-19 epidemics in the U.S. So congratulations to Governor Kristi Knows Nothing. The Queen of Meth. She has used the people of South Dakota as an experiment, in her own words. We were part of an experiment. And as a result, we will now have more death than per ratio to population than any other state because, government used you, the slave class, to tell you, oh, it's for your freedom. Okay. I guess I mean, don't get me wrong. Listen, I'll still tell you, hey, at least she's not telling me I can only put 6 people at my table, no more than 3 households, and everybody's got to wear a mask. And by the way, we got to do it outside where it's fucking freezing. So, yeah, so cool little thought experiment here, how the government knowingly and intentionally didn't do it because it was the right thing to do. Did it because and didn't do it because you're like, no, we want freedom. And it's not that they care about your freedom. We've beat that dead horse. You're not free. So it's not about your freedom. It was you were a part of an experiment. And it came out of her fucking mouth. So this isn't me saying it. This is her saying it. And, I unfortunately, folks, I can't fix the stupid in the world. I can only talk about it. And it's really sad that's all I can do. As you can see in this fancy little Vox chart here, we definitely fucked up somewhere along the way. I mean, if you look at, North Dakota is a little worse than South Dakota, but somewhere along the way we fucked up, and here we are fucking it up again, So I don't know. Seems like pretty depressing news. Maybe we need some good news. Maybe I need my horoscope read or something. What do you think? Do you think it's horoscope time? Maybe some Throwback Thursday. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mercedes is backstage. Good morning, Mercedes. How are you on this fine day? Let me get my logo out of your face.
Oh, thanks. You know how I don't like that. It's so kind of you to remember my preferences and be all caring and nice and not all negative and hatey. You know, breaking that thought cycle and that process to go forward in our issues as a community united together.
What Kool-Aid were you drinking this morning? Nah, cheers. Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers.
You want a piece of me cup this morning? No, I had a lot of, like, okay, so this one time, I live in Nebraska. Yeah. So this one time, I got up this morning. Okay. Remember yesterday when we were talking about our old lives before this political year, and we were talking about how we got up at ungodly times in the morning? Well, I got up at 4 this morning, CJ. It's almost like that thought seed was placed in my brain, and my body's like, let's go back to normal. Let's get up at 4. You're happier in the morning. So I woke up at 4, and I had time to myself, and then I went back to sleep for like an hour, and then I woke back up, and now I'm in this cheery, bubbly mood that I used to be in all the time before 2020's election happened, and I was running for office. I let the negativity get to me, CJ. So I'm here to spread the love through horoscopes.
All right. Well, let's
and Throwback Thursday to old sleep cycles that were triggered by your friends.
Oh, yeah. Hey, well, whatever works. So, Mercedes, let's hear the horoscope then.
Because you're a Libra, right?
Yes, ma'am.
My mom's a Libra.
Well, let's hear it. What's the damage, Mercedes?
No, don't put me false face. I don't like it. Okay, if you were headed down a steep slope on a sled and you could see that a giant tree was right ahead of you in your path, you would have to make a sharp turn to avoid hitting it. If you panicked and just kept going, you would be due for one earth-shattering headache, but by steering the sled in another direction, you could avoid all that. Although you may be headed quickly in the wrong direction with a certain negotiation or venture, you can make a change, veer off into something different to avoid a painful collision.
Sounds like I have no clue what the horoscope's trying to say today.
It's exactly what I said before I read the horoscope. You need to be more positive, CJ, more loving. You got to find the good stuff right now because 2020 is a shit show and we only have 4 days until the election's over.
Yeah, I don't know. Craig agrees with you. The election it'll be over
Gotta
soon.
find the good news.
Sharp turn to statism, maybe.
There you go. See?
I don't know. To avoid death at the hands of government, turn to statism.
No, it's more like I was I like the mental health, and it was suggested to me after the suicide of my father-in-law that when you are in the tough times, it is okay to fall back on old beliefs to get you through as a crutch as long as you understand that they're not healthy. No, don't go full statism, balls to the wall, bad things, but, sometimes it's okay to let your brain go gooey as long as you understand what you're doing. It's all about self-control and how you can control yourself. Because that's the real libertarian message, is that you are in charge of yourself and you are your own boss. And you are in charge of your own mental health, and that means helping yourself and having people in your life to help you get out of negative thought processes. So saith the universe.
Right. Yeah, no, I can hear that message. I can even appreciate it, and I can have
Anyway.
I can appreciate that message, Mercedes, on the grounds that like I said, I've said the whole day that I am negative. I've come to resent. In fact, I've been very vocal that I've come to resent the duopoly voters. And I want to be honest with this process, because there might be somebody else who's out there like me thinking I can run for office and change the system, but you learn to you come to the realization that, wait a minute, I'm telling people they're slaves and they're still voting for their slavery. Maybe in their lifetimes, they want to be slaves.
But you got to remember.
And how selfish is it for me
to try to free them?
To try to free them when they clearly want to be slaves.
That's where I got stuck too. That's what led me down the tunnel of darkness into the dark side of libertarianism. or just the political system in general, because I'm like, God, nihilism. That's what it's called, isn't it? A nihilist?
Nihilism.
Whatever. I don't know what it is. I'm not a fan of it. But I find myself in that place when I, not abandon all hope, but, you know, that's, you know, I, at one point in my life, thought it was a good idea to take the warning labels off of things and letting just
Mercedes,
it sort
did
out.
you pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible with liberty and justice for all?
I said like 3 or 4 different variations of it throughout my lifetime.
Did
every day,
you,
yes.
did you, were you ever proud to be an American?
Oh, deep in the very center of my being was I.
And what was the moment where you realized that it's not what they say it is?
Oh, I've always known. I was
So,
raised to know.
so you're raised to know, but willingly going along with it.
Like, that I was willingly going along with it?
Yeah, with statism, with the duopoly.
I was raised like to know. I was raised like as a second-gen libertarian rainbow kid, anarchist. Like, I was raised to know what the state is imposing on you, and if the law is wrong, either break the fucking law and deal with the consequences, or become in a position of power to change the fucking law. If the law does not legislate morality, I've always been raised to know that law does not mean it's correct.
Yeah, no, because slavery was quote unquote legal.
It was
at
legal,
one time, but
but
it's still legal today.
Exactly. Like, but I am aware of that. So I took it upon myself as a libertarian to do what I felt I needed to do to spread that message of liberty. No matter the cost to my own little flame, because I got a little light inside me. What is
this
that song?
Little light of mine.
There you go. See, that's the one.
I'm gonna let it shine.
And as long as one person has that little light, as long as the ember doesn't go cold, you can always flame that fire back up, because we didn't start the fire. It's always been burning since the world's been turning. Just
Mercedes, when is your rap album coming out?
Honestly, I might start working on it because I have everything set up to actually do it. I had that imposter syndrome, yo.
I've actually wrote a few songs in the
I know.
lyrical stylings of rap.
Oh, you wanna do some Plains rap like Eminem?
No,
Not.
I wrote a few.
I've written raps.
yeah.
Okay, Throwback Thursday.
I've done
high
some
school.
collab.
High school, we had a poetry club. Okay, free speech. Was raised to know my constitutional rights. I knew what free speech meant.
No,
in
you
poetry
were
club.
raised to know what the government tells you
No,
are
my
your
grandpa,
rights.
So my grandpa did this thing in Vietnam where instead of being forced into the army, he signed up because it was better to sign up because you got to pick where you wanted
Better
to
to
go.
volunteer than to be voluntold, yeah.
Yes, so my grandma was a dirty hippie and my grandpa was a statist Republican. He volunteered because he knew the punishment would be less because reasons. And yeah. And so, but anyway, being as raised by a hippie and a Vietnam vet, and then being also forgetting where I was going with this. My meds haven't kicked in yet, thanks.
Oh, man, it must be nice to have meds.
No, like actually pharmaceutical meds.
Oh, yeah, well, big pharma, you know,
Well, I
it's,
have
the
the
government would
ADHD.
prefer that you do that.
When
but
I get stressed out, I get bouncy, and then I can't
What
focus.
is
As you're
Adam
seeing in
Cook
real time.
doing?
Political quizzes, I think.
Oh, yes, that's going to be fun to watch Statist Adam take the political compass test.
I don't want to.
I want to wait to see how he dissects his answers.
When I took that test and the statist mindset once because I wanted to. Like, I was like, this is what I was raised to believe. Let's see what it is. Left-wing nationalist is what it is.
Yeah, Mercedes.
And then I took it as myself and what I believed and what I
you're
found to be the
that
truth.
domestic terrorist that us right-wing libertarians are saying, no, listen, it's them that's pushing domestic terrorism.
It's us. I'm sorry. We want
Not
everybody to
this
love
guy.
each other. We want to be left alone.
Listen to this
just hang
terrorist
out.
right
And
now.
we just want to grow weed and just raise our kids in
Terrorism.
nature. I'm so
Terrorism.
sorry. God, I'm sorry. God, but that's exactly what I mean is I'm a libertarian.
Statists think you're a terrorist.
If I'm going to terrorize you with my body odor and flowers, I'm so sorry.
Okay, I think that's a sign that this is about as much as this conversation needs to go. Dirty hippie terrorism. Ugh.
I'm of the Willie Nelson fan.
That took
And
an
Johnny
interesting.
Well, I've tried to
turn.
cheer you up, and I know.
Ben cheered. Thank you.
Oh, so also though, I watched my interview finally. That was on the news.
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
I hate everything I produce, so I am a terrible critic of myself. I will give you my honest opinion, which is I am trash. I sound uneducated and flustered.
Her name is Mercedes Damatrowski, and she approves this message.
I do. So as my own worst critic, I see all my flaws, but as somebody that loves me, because I do love myself, it was really good. We were at a restaurant, so there was a lot of background noise. There was some distractions, like you could hear people talking behind us. The interview itself, though, the quality of the interview compared to my opponent was substantially, like, juicy. Like, I got, like, 10 to 12 minutes, maybe, of airtime, and he had, like, 3 questions done in 5 minutes over Zoom. And in his own, and in the print, it says, don't just go by name recognition, actually look into the candidates. Like, he's almost nudging people to me. He's almost like, hey.
He's almost like, listen, I know that they keep saying we're the slave owners, and I don't want to be here when the treason allegations come.
It's almost like he's saying...
It's almost like
he's being consistent in what he talks locally, where he tells his friends...
Mercedes,
he tells his friends.
Smart ones know what's coming.
I know.
Smart ones know what's coming.
He was picked to be in his spot because the person running was horrible, because I voted for our constituent Republican seat holder now because the other person was terrible. No, the other person was that bad. The other person was so bad. I voted for the person that is even bad right now. But he's not bad. He's just not doing anything. He's just sitting there. He's like like a potato with a stick, and you're like poking him going, "Do something."
Okay,
so
here's a good question for you, Mercedes. Okay, as a senator, let's say you had a CJ Abernathy that lives in your district. Somebody who's like, she is committing crimes against the Constitution, the people of her district. How would you handle that?
I would invite them out to coffee in the morning and go on and talk about it and see what's going on. I actually, in my virtual town hall, had a hater going, you don't know, you never went through shit, whatever, like privately. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, thank you for your opinion, whatever. And she's like, well, I have a problem, blah, blah, blah. And then I finally just kind of let it loose. Not let it loose, but I was honest with her. I'm like, this is who I am. I'm sorry you don't know me. I'm sorry that you've experienced this here. I wasn't here during that time. I'm here now. This is my problems too. And she's like, well, would you like to get coffee? I said, yes. Let's go get coffee. Add me on Facebook. Reach out to me. Let's go talk about what you've experienced. I'm so sorry. Like, I'm not the enemy. The person that you should be mad at isn't even here. He had a prior engagement. He didn't show up to the town hall. He told you how much he cares, and he did it by a super spreader event and his opponent coming to our state and leaving our people out in the literal cold. As Trump would do.
Man.
Politics are fun, and that's why you find the good gooey stuff like puppies and coffee
and
Adam
conversations
Kokesh.
and Adam Kokesh.
God bless King Adam Charles Kokesh, the first statist
Speaking of the man, we
ruler
got
of Gardenia.
cheers to statism and new statist Adam. All right, well, Mercedes, I got 15 minutes until the show starts, so that's about time I got to take the dog out to poop and all that fun jazz. So
I hope you get dizzy. I hope you have fun.
Oh yeah, it'll be fun.
Dizzy with Daisy. Start a puppy podcast and do it Dizzy with Daisy.
Have a good day or don't, you guys. Choice is always yours. We'll see you next time.
Bye.